10 Poorest Countries in Africa 2024. Hi viewers! In today's video, we are going to look into the 10 poorest countries in Africa in 2024. Africa is a vast continent with a rich history, diverse cultures, and natural beauty. It is the second largest and second most populous continent in the world, covering 30.37 million square kilometers and home to over 1.3 billion people. Despite these factors, poverty in Africa is a complex issue with deep historical, economic, social, and political roots. Without any further ado, let's look into the 10 poorest countries in Africa as of 2024. Number 1. South Sudan. South Sudan, the world's youngest nation since independence in 2011, is one of Africa's poorest countries due to factors such as conflict, instability, economic challenges, lack of infrastructure, humanitarian crisis, corruption, governance issues, underdeveloped educational systems, poor healthcare, and agricultural struggles. Conflict and instability have devastated the economy, displaced millions, and hindered development efforts. The heavily dependent economy on oil has led to fluctuations in oil prices and production disruptions, affecting revenue. Inadequate infrastructure hampers economic growth and development. Humanitarian crises include food insecurity, malnutrition, and limited access to clean water and healthcare. Corruption and mismanagement affect government operations and resource distribution. Health challenges include high rates of diseases like malaria and cholera, and low life expectancy. Addressing these challenges requires sustained international support, effective governance, and peace-building efforts. Number 2. Burundi. Burundi, one of Africa's poorest nations, faces numerous economic, social, political, and environmental challenges. The country's low GDP per capita, reliance on agriculture, and high poverty rate contribute to its economic struggles. The Human Development Index, HDI, also shows low health services, low educational attainment, and low income. Access to healthcare is limited, with high rates of malnutrition and infant mortality. Political instability, particularly the civil war from 1993 to 2005, has hindered development. Corruption and governance issues affect public administration and resource allocation. Burundi's landlocked geography limits its access to international markets and reduces its competitiveness in global trade. Recent economic reforms aim to improve the business climate and attract foreign investment. Number 3. Central African Republic. The Central African Republic, CAR, is a poor country with a low GDP per capita and a significant portion of the population living below the poverty line. The economy relies heavily on subsistence agriculture with limited industrialization and diversification. Access to markets is hindered by poor transportation networks and landlocked geography. Human development indicators include low education, high illiteracy rates, malnutrition, malaria, and limited healthcare access. Infrastructure deficiencies include limited access to electricity, clean water, and poor road conditions. The CAR heavily relies on international aid for humanitarian assistance and development projects, which can create a dependency cycle and hinder sustainable economic development. Natural resource management is also a challenge. Initiatives focusing on peace building, governance improvement, infrastructure enhancement, and economic diversification are being pursued. Number 4. Democratic Republic of Congo. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, is a country plagued by poverty despite its abundant natural resources. The country's history, governance, and socio-economic structure contribute to its poverty. Historical factors include colonial exploitation and post-independence instability. Political issues include corruption, weak institutions, and dependency on extractive industries. The country also suffers from a lack of infrastructure, health issues, and limited access to education. Social factors include health issues, conflict, and human rights violations. International aid dependence and debt burden are significant challenges. The resource curse results in less economic growth and poorer development outcomes. Addressing these issues requires comprehensive efforts at national and international levels, including improved governance, investment in diversified economic activities, infrastructure development, conflict resolution, and equitable resource management. Number 5. Niger. Niger, one of Africa's poorest nations, faces numerous economic, social, and environmental challenges. These include low GDP per capita, agriculture dependence, limited industrialization, and inadequate infrastructure. The country's high fertility rate and low education levels contribute to poverty and limit economic advancement opportunities. Health issues like malnutrition and malaria are prevalent due to limited healthcare access. Climate change exacerbates desertification and reduces agricultural productivity. Natural disasters disrupt agricultural activities and displace communities. Political instability and corruption hinder the effective implementation of development policies. Niger heavily relies on international aid for development projects and humanitarian assistance, but it cannot meet its needs independently. To address multidimensional poverty, comprehensive efforts are needed, including economic diversification, education and healthcare, infrastructure enhancement, and political stability and good governance. Number 6. Mozambique. Mozambique, a southeastern African country, is plagued by poverty, inequality, and subsistence agriculture, as well as health issues like malaria, HIV/AIDS, and tuberculosis. The country also faces food insecurity due to poor agricultural productivity, climate change, and economic instability. Political factors like corruption and poor governance hinder development efforts. Mozambique has experienced conflict, including a civil war from 1977 to 1992, and natural disasters often damage infrastructure and agriculture. International aid and investment are crucial for Mozambique's development projects, but reliance on aid can lead to dependency and hinder sustainable development. Foreign investment, particularly in the natural gas sector, is often unevenly distributed, and local communities may not see significant improvements in living standards. Despite these challenges, Mozambique has significant potential for growth due to its natural resources, strategic location, and young population. Number 7. Malawi. Malawi, a southeastern African country, is one of the poorest in the continent due to a combination of economic, social, environmental, and institutional factors. Key economic factors include agricultural dependence, low industrialization, and inadequate infrastructure. Malawi's high population growth strains resources and limits living standards. Health challenges like HIV/AIDS, malaria, and malnutrition reduce productivity and increase healthcare costs. Education quality is often low, and secondary and higher education opportunities are limited. Climate change, deforestation, political instability, and limited access to capital restrict opportunities for entrepreneurship and investment in small businesses. International aid and development programs are working to improve conditions, but their effectiveness is often limited by governance issues and logistical challenges. In conclusion, Malawi's poverty is a result of a complex interplay of economic, social, environmental, and institutional factors, requiring a multifaceted approach involving national policies and international support. Number 8. Liberia. Liberia, one of Africa's poorest countries, faces significant economic and social challenges due to its history of conflict, reliance on natural resources, infrastructure deficiencies, health issues, low literacy rates, political instability, poverty, unemployment, and dependence on foreign aid. The civil war from 1989 to 2003 devastated the country's infrastructure, economy, and social fabric, causing a loss of millions in resources. The economy relies heavily on exporting natural resources, but fluctuating global prices and a narrow economic base make stability difficult. Infrastructure rebuilding has been slow, and public health issues like malaria and tuberculosis have strained the health system. Despite international support and domestic initiatives, overcoming these challenges requires sustained effort and effective policy implementation. Number 9. Chad. Chad, one of Africa's poorest countries, is largely due to its historical, economic, political, and social factors. The country's resource dependency, underdeveloped agriculture, and poor infrastructure contribute to food insecurity. Political instability, corruption, and human rights issues have further entrenched poverty. Geographic and environmental factors, such as landlockedness, extreme weather conditions, and desertification, limit access to international trade routes and increase transportation costs. Social indicators include low literacy rates, high infant and maternal mortality rates, and poverty. International aid, while substantial, has often been insufficient or mismanaged. Addressing these issues requires sustained efforts from both the Chadian government and the international community. The country's status as one of the poorest in Africa is a result of a complex interplay of these factors. Number 10. Madagascar. Madagascar is one of the poorest countries in Africa due to historical, economic, social, and environmental factors. The country has one of the lowest GDP per capita in Africa, with the majority living below the international poverty line. The economy is heavily reliant on agriculture, making it vulnerable to climatic changes and natural disasters. Madagascar's colonial history has led to political instability, disrupting economic policies and deterring foreign investment. Social and infrastructure challenges include high illiteracy rates, limited access to quality healthcare, and poor infrastructure. Environmental issues include deforestation and soil degradation, and natural disasters. Madagascar heavily relies on international aid and development assistance, but development projects focus on improving education, healthcare, and infrastructure. Opportunities for improvement include tourism, renewable resources, and international partnerships. Addressing these challenges requires a multifaceted approach involving governance, infrastructure, education, healthcare, and economic diversification. To address poverty in Africa, a comprehensive approach is needed, including improving governance, investing in education and healthcare, fostering economic diversification, and addressing gender inequality and environmental challenges. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, provide a framework for these efforts, aiming to eradicate poverty and promote sustainable economic growth by 2030. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe our channel and leave a comment in the comment section below.